So, welcome everybody. Coming to you from Singapore with my good friend Andre, who is in a wonderful in Tuscany.
In Tuscany.
How's it all going, my friend?
Good, good. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I saw there might be some delay. I mean, we are 10,000 kilometers apart now.
I know. I'm kind of crazy to think you were 2 miles up the road, and we couldn't actually meet with this lockdown, which unfortunately continues here in Singapore. So before we get into a rambling conversation between the two of us, we should probably tell the viewers we're here to learn about today, which is some pretty amazing projects that Futura have got underway, and effectively what we're calling a global challenge to attract some people with the best social impact projects out there. So maybe I'll throw that over to you to give us a bit of context around that and where people can find information on it.
Thanks, Sean. And yeah, I mean, we are glad to announce that we are going to launch officially a global challenge for the best impact projects that wants to change society for good. We believe that it's about time to make a difference for real.
And really, what makes you say that? The world seems fine.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there are things that could be improved, certainly. And actually, it's a very interesting time to be alive, as always it is. I think in the current situation, we are closing somehow an era of competition and starting to open an era of collaboration, because I think more and more people are realizing that if we keep fighting each other, well, everyone is losing.
I hope you're right, Andre. We had a 1 week window here in Singapore, as you know, back in. I was talking to somebody the other day. I actually think that I am one of the most quarantined people on the planet right now. This began for me on the 2nd of February, and to cut a long story short, I'm going to my 5th month now. But in that 1 week window where I actually had the chance to go and hang out with some friends, we had a very emotional evening the day before the government had said, okay, tomorrow, sorry, you all go home. We're still at home. As you can tell from my Justin Bieber haircut. And that was the theme of the evening. We thought, okay, this virus will maybe bring us together and we will collaborate. Humanity's going to get better. And you've just made a comment to that effect. I'm not seeing that in no one else's media now. What gives you that hope, and what are you doing about it?
It could have been. The problem is that I think not necessarily media, but governments have done a lot of instrumentalization, if it's the correct word. They could have utilized this occasion to say, guys, I mean, we have a global problem and we need a global solution.
I thought that would happen.
Yeah,
it seems to be the opposite.
And many global organizations has done that, like the World Health Organization and other institutions.
Well, the US has just pulled out of that, so
yeah,
that seems to be an absolute disaster.
Yeah. I mean,
their funding is by far the most significant of any country. So.
Unfortunately, even in that sense, it's not even the United States. I mean, it's a one-man show that has pulled off, because hundreds of millions of people would still want to fund that organization. And
governments are getting it wrong, Andre. What is Futura all about? What's Futura doing? Let's have a chat about that.
Hey, I mean,
look at what else is going on.
It's interesting that one of the 4 clusters of the global challenge. So the global challenge is structured in a way that we are giving 4 main themes to follow for new projects to join, and one of those is decision making and voting system. So we want to find better ways to take decision at the micro level and as well as at the macro level. I mean, all of us as human beings, we need better intel, better knowledge and support in decision making in our daily life. And that's one thing, and that's why we have internet, that's why we have Wikipedia and other solutions. But what about companies? What about governments? At the moment, all of these very large organizations are run by a bunch of people. which is probably 5, 10 people, 15 people, depending on the government. But you have the prime minister, the president. I mean, we know how it is. What we believe is that that is not the most efficient way to run a large organization, either is a company or a government, because it's missing out on so many things. It's missing out on people's opinion, it's not allowing people to feel a strong belong feeling.
No, and for that reason, they're burning down their own neighborhoods right now.
Exactly. I mean, we are seeing that not only in the United States, I mean, everywhere look about Hong Kong or other places where basically the government is saying, well, you do like this now, and that's it. And people are saying, yeah, but we are the state, we are the government. It's
Andre, I think the last time that I actually sat down with you here in Singapore, it's a number of months ago now, but you gave quite an impassioned talk about the state of the world, and it very much was about what was going on in Hong Kong. We had the forests in Brazil being burnt down at the time. They seem like good times in comparison to what we've currently got now.
True.
Who would have thought? So what is the global challenge? Who can get involved, and what's inspired it?
Well, the global challenge is an idea to basically get people together in a very collaborative way to build projects from scratch and then solve challenges of society and humanity. To make it easier and more organized, we have defined these 4 clusters, and we have the education cluster, then we have voting and decision making, micro level, macro level. Then we have new economies. Therefore, capitalism is not the most, it's not the most effective way to move forward in terms of economic model. I've actually done a 1-hour video about it, conversation, discussion, like breaking down capitalism in various points. I'm not supporting communism.
We'll put links
either
below to those videos. I've seen them, and they're great tools. I think they'll explain things in a lot more detail than maybe we'll cover in this video. And also, obviously, on the website, these 4 categories are broken down into great detail.
Yes.
I think the key thing I'd love to get across to the audience now is this global challenge is not really a case of, hey, I've got a business plan, I've got a white paper, I'm looking for some funding. This is simply anybody out there with a good idea can bring that to the platform, and that will then attract anybody anywhere in the world can get involved in that.
As long as you have
key thing we want to get across at this point, isn't it?
Yes. As long as you have an internet connection, a smartphone, you can be involved. You don't need to have a team. We will form teams together through multiple sessions. We are going to have weekly calls with
and you're
mentors.
also going to fund the project that sort of everyone sort of votes to say is right.
Absolutely. So the initial award that we have is $5,000. Hopefully, if we will have more sponsors, more people joining, we can increase that award. But I really want to stress the thing that this challenge is not what people are used to. It's not like an hackathon. We don't want to have one winner and many losers. So even the projects that don't make it to the final, they're going to be supported anyway. If they're great ideas, they're going to have support, they're going to have funding. We are going to match them with multiple opportunities. We want to have as many winners as possible and as less losers as possible. Also, team will have the opportunity to merge together. So we're doing really everything we can to empower people, not to challenge people.
Perfect. So, what's the stepping off point to get this moving? Obviously, we'll put a link below. Yep. What link should people click on here to register their interest?
Well, okay, we have
screen. It's up on the screen now, by the way, so you're very clear on what to do.
So absolutely, they can join. So today is 7th of June 2020. They can join the next call that is going to be on the 10th of June, so in 3 days. We are going to have other calls on the 17th and 24th of June. We are basically trying to have weekly team up virtually so that everybody can join, get up to speed, find buddies and mentors, and then start on the right track.
Okay, excellent. So in summary, the way to maybe put it is, because obviously on my channel, I'm very sort of blockchain, crypto focused, where we're launching a show in 2 weeks where it's a panel of VCs and people come along and pitch an idea. I guess the main point you get across here is this is quite different to that sort of structure.
Absolutely.
In that you don't need a white paper, you don't need a business plan. You need a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and an idea.
Commitment.
And the team will naturally form around that idea. As a collective, it'll be driven forward.
Yes.
Obviously, I suppose naturally the next thing that even the most good-hearted person out there, Andre, is going to ask, well, what's in it for me? How's it structured? Obviously we're going into a scenario now where huge amount of people are, putting food on the table for their families that's a major issue. It's only going to become a bigger issue for many. So getting involved in this type of project, could you give us a bit of context around it putting food on the table for people, etc.?
To answer your question on multiple points, what's in it for them? Well, first of all, the problem of an individual often are depending from the problem of the collectivity, so the system around them. Lots of problems with wealth distribution or even poverty at the individual level are actually depending from larger causes and consequences. So if we cannot solve the main issues, we cannot certainly solve the micro issues. It's easier to change the system and then create a ripple effect that will change people's life for good. That in wealth distribution, in poverty, in health, security, and so on. For example, we know that the reason of poverty is because capitalism as an economic model is a great way to create wealth, but is the worst way to distribute wealth. So we are in the situation where we are right now because of the system. If we can change the system, then we can straight up change the life of every single individual involved into the system. And I think that the COVID-19 situation opened the eyes of people in terms of how fast governments can implement directions. Yeah. Something that we would have not thought possible, like countries shutting down their borders completely for months. It actually happened overnight in a way. So we know that governments can implement things very, very fast, even complex things, if they want to, because they have the resources and the capabilities. So to answer your question, if people can change things on the larger side, then it will affect their life. On the other side, what we are doing is also allowing people to be part of projects that can generate resources for them. So creating financial sustainability in a way that people can finally start to live their purpose by doing what they love to. So instead of being, an accountant, nothing against accountant, it's a great job, but many people might not want to be an accountant.
I'm starting to think you've got something accountants, you always bring them up.
Yeah, exactly. I can say something else, I don't know.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Accountants are great, and ultimately, the space I'm involved in, not to digress too much, but effectively a blockchain, and it is a technology we've both looked at extensively. That really boils down to accountability, accountancy. It's a ledger. It's a record of everything. It's sort of evening the playing field, and I'm sure some of the ideas that do come to the table will be incorporating that technology, or at least I hope so. From my perspective, it's something I find fascinating. But sorry to cut you off there, sir.
Is a very, very important question that you ask, because many people might not have reached the stage, either financially or in terms of awareness, to say, well, it's not a solo problem. I need to get together with the people around me to solve not only my problems, because my problems are the same as 3 billion people out there, or even more.
Yeah.
So, and it's a copy-paste problem. The problem of a person that is not able to reach the end of the month with his own salary, and a family struggling, and people not being able to pay for education, for food, is not a solo problem. Is a systemic problem. But if people want to have some somehow short-term return, or seeing some personal return in that sense, with these projects we are aiming to make them financially sustainable in a way that they can leave their job and they can finally work and live their own purpose. Yep. And I think that this is very important. There's going to be an award for the best project. We are going to support financially also other projects. So yeah, people will have that.
Excellent. Yeah, I think ultimately, looking at what Futura have been doing, I think the end game would be to create, these distributed systems where, the users are effectively the owners. I do absolutely, in talking to a number of real thought leaders, both in economics and blockchain, we are heading down that route, and it is taking shape. I absolutely applaud what you're doing on that front. I think the concept will be quite hard for a lot of people to wrap their heads around just from watching this particular chat between the two of us, but there's a wealth of information in the links below the video. So please go and refer to those. So, I mean, on that note, if we really sort of sum it up, who people, the people watching this, who do you think should go and click these links? Who do we want involved here? I mean, obviously it's open to absolutely everybody, but just to sort of try and clear up people's thinking around what we're actually saying here, who should be clicking these links? What are we doing here?
Well, I think certainly people that want to change things. So it could be industry experts, it could be people that have gathered certain specific knowledge that now they say, wow, I can apply this not just for myself, but for the people around me. It could be anybody interested in making a change, even as a supporter. Sometimes just being able to spread the word, organizing events, organizing activities, or mentoring projects. I mean, this is really a collective effort, so almost anybody on Earth can add value in a way or another. Maybe you might be in a very remote part of the world and you see an issue, and you can make a video of that issue, share it with us so that we know that there is an issue. And that thing might be systemic, so it might be in other parts of the world. If we are able to collect enough data, then we are able to define better solutions. So almost anybody of any age can be part of this, actually. Actually, if they want to see a little bit more, they can go on Futura.com/open roles, and they can see all the open roles for this ecosystem, and there's quite a large number of roles that are available. So
yeah, excellent. So I mean, look, on that note, there's been a huge amount of work. I know for a fact I've been to many of the meetings with the team. This is something that's growing fast. The caliber of people that are behind it is absolutely outstanding. And I think it's, look, go and have a look at the resources that are there. It's quite difficult for us to cover all that material in this chat, but we will be here on at least a weekly basis. But please go and have a look at all the information that is available. And what's the best way for people to get in contact initially? It's the Futura website, or
they can join on the Futura website, also on Meetup. I mean, we can put the link in the description. They can find all the up and coming events, and they can talk with us directly live during the events. So yeah, we are very easy to be reached.
Yeah, and I guess a sort of key takeaway here as well is, you don't have to have that amazing idea. You just have to have the motivation to get involved in a project, to do your bit, to affect some social impacts and some change.
Absolutely.
Anybody that's turning on the media right now, I think it's time everyone has to make some pretty big decisions. Well, it's not a big decision at all, is it? It's an obvious decision. We all want a better world than the one that's staring us in the face right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a matter of commitment. So if people can start to, I don't know, spend 1 or 2 hours less on Facebook or Netflix and actually making the world a better place, maybe they will not need a virtual reality to escape from the real one, because currently the real one sucks a little bit. And I can understand why people are trying to find escape from that.
Yeah.
But that's another topic for another video.
A scenario of pretty much complete lockdown, rather horrible word to use, to rioting, to effectively burning down your own neighborhood, to and it certainly has spread to a number of, a huge amount of cities around the world. There's been some horrific things happening.
I mean, that's the problem when anger takes on the street rather than strategy and organization, because you have millions of people in the past year that they have been rioting in a way in different countries, and if they were just coming together, the same number of people with the resources and knowledge that they have in a more organized way, I mean, we would have changed already quite a little bit.
I couldn't agree more. I think ultimately everybody does have a choice where you put your energy, and it's been horrible. When you're told, okay, you have to stay home, you're not allowed out. Regular life is gone. There's been a huge amount of people sitting there going, "Oh, the conspiracy theories have been thick and fast." And look, to me, obviously, there's this horrendous incident in the US. People are on the streets over Black Lives Matter, and of course, that's a major issue to address. I think there's definitely an element of nobody trusts authority anymore. Nobody is confident in their governments, etc. So what are we going to do about it? We're going to throw a brick through a window?
I mean, history, this is not the first time humanity is facing this situation. This is probably the 1000th time.
Correct. Yeah.
And violence doesn't solve many things, because the problem is that, I mean, even with the French Revolution, you can chop all the heads of the middle class or the high class, and then who is coming next is just replacing it completely and copy paste. But what has been showing to be very effective is actually innovation. So there was the way, for example, Europe came out from the Middle Age, from the Dark Age. I don't know if Dark Age is the correct word, but basically in the 15th.
I think we might be in the Dark Age.
Yeah, true. It was the Renaissance period anyway, where people started to invest resources more into art, technology, architecture, medical innovation, and that has brought humanity to a new age.
Well, that's actually your part of the world where you're sitting right now, isn't it? The Medici.
Oh man, I'm in Tuscany. I'm actually at the epicenter of the Renaissance.
So are you saying we could have a Renaissance here?
I think it's about time. I think it's about time where we switch from competitive models to collaborative models. And we have to do this in a systemic way on the economic level, on the innovation level, even on the law and legality level, incentivizing collaborative behaviors and disincentivize selfishness, corruption, and solo playing, which it has been not working really. I'm not favoring communism, because some people might say, so if it's not capitalism, it's communism. No, I mean, also that one didn't seem to work. I think we need to utilize the current technologies to create better system. You mentioned earlier blockchain. Blockchain is a great technology that we can utilize for finance, we can utilize for tracing things so that we don't need a central entity of trust. But that's just one of the many technologies.
Look, Andre, the blockchain goes over most people's heads. It can be associated with, the incredible fraud that's gone down in the cryptocurrency space, etc. I know you've not been a big fan of what you've seen there at all.
Yeah.
The simple reality is, I interviewed a guy who actually was a founding father of blockchain. That him and a colleague of his basically came up with blockchain back in the mid-90s. And the key thing that I took away from interviewing him, and you can find that interview on Hard Forking from a few days ago, was empathy. This guy spoke some real sense. We have to have empathy towards one another. The whole idea of a blockchain is this immutable record, which effectively creates a level playing field. It's effectively a global ledger of truth, and I really like that way of looking at it. And I took a lot from listening to talk, and we're far from that vision being realized, but we're potentially on the right path with that particular technology. But I guess where I'm going with this is nobody has to hang around waiting for a technology to change things. We all just have to have a little bit of more empathy ourselves. And we naturally move towards that. That technology is there, but without everyone actually having empathy, we won't use what's available to us. Whether it's,
but mate, even if they don't have empathy, I mean, you might be the most selfish asshole on this planet. You need to realize.
You're not referring to me specifically.
No. You. Oh, sorry. That's one of the Italian problem with grammars is that we use you as a third-party entity. So
there are people watching that would agree with you, Andre, but we're
no. Apologize for that. It's
hopefully
my
not many.
non-native.
Okay, we've established I'm not a selfish person.
So not you, but another you, a third party you. He or she. What is the third person is it, isn't it? So he can be the most selfish bastard or asshole on this planet. He or she has to realize that the same problems that are affecting the poorest person on this planet might affect them as well. I mean, the COVID-19 is an example. Came from a very remote part of the world all the way to the house of even prime minister and rich people. So there are problems that don't care about your status or how much wealth you have been accumulating. If there is violence in the street and you get caught in between, it doesn't matter how rich you are, you're going to be in trouble. Or pollution. And pollution is going to affect everybody. I mean, if you live in Delhi or in large cities, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. You're going to be affected anyway. So even if you have no empathy, even if you are ruthless, reckless, even if you just care about yourself or your very tiny circle around you, you need to get out there and change the world. Because this is going to affect you anyway, either now or.
Well, we're seeing that right now, and they're very prophetic words. You're 100% correct. I think the veneer of society being the safe, warm bubble, it doesn't exist. Things can change.
No, it's an illusion.
They can change quickly. It's an illusion. Yeah.
It's an illusion that has been built for specific reasons that we can discuss in other videos. So we can have how we did end up in this situation to begin with. It would be really important, I think, for people to understand so that we don't end up in the same situation again over and over as history has been showing us. But yeah, it's safety is an illusion in that sense.
It is. Look, I think the good news is there's a hell of a lot of people out there, and I've met a lot being around yourself and the other people involved in Futura.
Yeah,
it's good to see it really starting to grow. And I think the key thing for anybody watching this is, look, go and have a look at the material that's been put together. You could be giving half an hour of your time, a month. That in itself is, a good thing. This is a collective, as you say, it can be. It took me a while to sort of wrap my head around, the overall concept of a distributed ownership. I don't really like saying the end goal, but it is. That's where it would be great to see these distributed ownership models take effect. At the moment, we've got all of our information in the hands of 2 or 3, I was going to say, and it really is 2 or 3 companies. So, maybe do you want to sort of comment a little bit more on that to give some context around the vision that the people involved have?
Well, I mean, as you said about distributed organization, it's not necessarily the goal, but it's a tool to reach the goal. Yeah. And the goal is collaboration and creating systems that are more fair, distributed, and empowering. There are billions of people on this planet, and there is such a waste of potential because people are struggling fighting things that they shouldn't be fighting to begin with. All of us, we are catched, even in first world countries, we are catched in so much pain of life admin, taxes, filing, rentals, plates, documents, governments, bureaucracy. We are giving away 30-40% of our time and energy fighting things that we shouldn't fight. So even as a human race, we have no common goal, no common vision, while we all have common issues, because we have problem of resources, problem of pollution, problem of aging, because all of us, we are dying inevitably, we are aging, and that's not just putting an end to our life, but it's also putting complications on our body, because the more we age, the more we get medically ill and, more complex to deal with.
There's a few people out there on this note, and it's something I'm extremely passionate about. I firmly believe that we're absolutely on the cusp of solving the issue of aging, and there's a couple of people I would actually like to get on to talk to us about that, and I'll reach out to them to do so. I think we have the opportunity now with technology is at, and specifically around aging, I actually know where that technology is at, or at least have a better knowledge than most watching this. It's exciting. There could be some big things in the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years maximum, that you'll be quite shocked. So let's not burn this freaking planet down before then.
Before we are able to escape it,
we have the ability to control these pandemics. We have the ability to control aging. We have the ability to control so many things. But what this COVID has shown me is we don't have the ability to communicate properly at a governmental level. The current systems we've got are extremely flawed. It's almost laughable.
Obsolete. That's it. And we need to get together the best minds and experts in this world to come with better models. It's just time, as every system, even your device, it needs regular updates, and that we don't update our economic models and our governmental systems is about 600 years, because we are utilizing the same models as we were utilizing hundreds of years ago.
Andre, I guess there's at least across my channel, there's probably a lot of people watching this going, well, who the hell is this Italian guy in the black t-shirt talking about new models, etc.? Is he running around with a guillotine? Is he a revolutionary? Who is he? I obviously know you very well. Maybe if you could tell people a little bit about your background and what sort of got you to the point of starting Futura, what was your inspiration? And I think importantly, what you were doing before this, just to explain to people who you are. I think that's quite important.
I think empathy is the answer. I came up from a challenging family and situation, as millions of people out there, and empathy made me realize very, very young that all my problems were also the problems of the people around me. And if you ever felt love for something or for someone, you want to protect that thing. And I realized that I couldn't protect things just because the system was not allowing me to do so. And then talking with people, I realized that was just not my problem, but that almost anybody around had the same problem. A small example is education. Education is forcing millions of kids to become what they were not supposed to, not even following their purpose of this or their skills. And they are creating so much unhappiness and frustration in a systemic way. So if you have empathy, you realize that there are many problems that should be solved. And therefore, I started to dedicate my life around when I was 14 to try to understand how can I change things? How can I utilize my skills to get together with people? And it took me half of my life to figure out in details the things that were not working really deeply at the root, so that if we can change that, we can create a domino effect that will change society. And then I worked about 10 years in finance, deeply involved in finance, to understand economic models, and basically everything is connected to finance. Either you're talking about agriculture, pharmaceutical industries, wars, even religion. At the end of the day, is finance. So if you are in finance, you can understand the dynamics of almost any industry, or actually any aspect in our daily life and in our life as a human race. And I was able to build enough resources then to dedicate those resources fully into impact. So that's somehow very short.
The financial system's absolutely fine. I don't think there's anything we need to change there. We just make more money every day, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can print it as well.
We have a new high. I think it was on the NASDAQ, was it?
Yeah. I mean,
share markets are going up.
It's very easy, you know, like
right?
the world is burning and you print more money. That's how governments are solving it. You know, economy first. So
I mean, you know, I've been immersed in the crypto space now for a number of years, as you know, and my big takeaway from it is understanding finance. You know, it's been a big lesson in economics, and it's quite terrifying when you really do get to that point where things start clicking. Oh God, really? This is how everything is held together. We're in a tricky situation right now. It's not something we can't solve. It can be.
We can solve it easily. I mean, the thing is that, as you mentioned before, even if you don't have the best idea, you can join us, because actually all the solutions are already out there. And it's a matter of taking the things, putting it together and making it work. We don't even need to invent new stuff to solve the problems that we have today. Maybe the problems that will come tomorrow will need future technologies. But for all the problems that society has today, we have all the resources, all the knowledge and technologies for that. So yeah, I mean, I think we can change things relatively fast. We just need to get together really and implement things.
Absolutely. I mean, look, on that note, for many people watching this, it might seem like the end of the world. It's certainly not. It's just time to get involved. There's something everybody can do. Yeah. We're certainly trying to do that with Futura, aren't we? All the links are below this video. Would love to hear from you. Would love to host you on videos. Get involved.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, my friend. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
Certainly an inspirational person. We'll continue to grow this community. And thank you for your time. Thank you for everybody that's watching this. And links are below. Come and join us.
Join us, guys. It's about time that we change things for good. So thanks, Sean, as well for your time. Always a pleasure. Looking forward.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, mate.
Okay.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci. Ciao.